Answer this riddle. What is the living being that drinks water once a week, copes well with dry climates, and can't tolerate more than one glass of water at a time? If you related to this, be careful, because the answer was a cactus. But unlike cacti, we, human beings, need a lot of water to stay alive. In this video, you will learn what the ideal amount of water is that you should drink, the harms of dehydration, and whether the idea of drinking 2 liters of water per day holds water. Stay until the end, because I will show you how to tell if you are dehydrated by the color of your urine. After all, do we really need that much water? What role does water play in the body? James is a 154-pound, 70 kilograms man who has about 10.5 gallons, approximately 40 liters, of water in his body. That's 2 gallons of water inside him. This ratio stays close to 70 to 80% of body weight in men, women, and children. 40% of James's body water is outside of the cells, distributed through the organs and making up the liquid part of the blood. Without it, the blood would be too viscous and incapable of quickly transporting nutrients. The water outside the cells is also responsible for forming urine and eliminating toxins from the body. The other 60% of water is inside the cells, diluting nutrients and enabling the metabolism of molecules that keep us alive. Water is also found in lesser-known places with unexpected functions, like the water in joints, which is responsible for absorbing the impact between bones. Without this fluid, it would be extremely painful for James to make any movement. But one of the most important functions of water, which relates to how much water you need to drink each day, is its ability to control body temperature. James went to enjoy the beach on the coast and has been lying under the sun for hours. Neurons that make up his internal thermometer detect that the temperature is rising. A structure called the hypothalamus, located in the brain, notices this increase and signals the sweat glands that it's time to release fluids to cool down the body. So, James begins to sweat, returning the heat from inside his body to the environment. And folks, the opposite occurs in a very cold place. The body's temperature alert systems trigger muscle shivering to generate heat, and the body stops sweat production, desperately retaining water. Sweat accounts for a significant portion of the liquid loss we experience throughout a day. The more you sweat, the more water you need to replenish. A healthy adult can lose up to about 30 ounces, close to 900 milliliters, of water per day through sweat alone. And if that adult is an athlete, that loss can reach up to about half a gallon, approximately 2 liters, per hour. Store this information because it will be essential for calculating the adequate amount of fluid a person should consume. Another way of losing fluids is through urine. A healthy adult can lose between 1 to 2 liters of water per day just in pee. This happens because every day, the kidneys act as a filter that ensures everything will be at the right concentration in the bloodstream. When you take a multivitamin without being deficient in vitamins, the excess from your A to Z compounds will be eliminated through urine. That's why nutritionists say you'll be peeing out expensive urine if you take supplements unnecessarily. Besides sweat and urine, the body also loses fluids through feces and even through breathing. No matter which method you lose more water, one thing is certain. The amount of water you consume will vary according to what you lose. And just as we have a thermometer for internal temperature, we also have one that measures hydration. When the cells of the hypothalamus notice a lack of water, the brain sends a signal that you perceive as thirst, dry mouth, headache, fatigue, that general weakness, you know? At the same time your body is asking for water, it releases hormones like the antidiuretic hormone, which will reduce water elimination in the urine. The urine becomes darker, more concentrated. That's why, for example, the first urine in the morning is darker than during the rest of the day, because over the night, you don't replace the water you lose through breathing and sweat. What does your pee look like in the morning and throughout the day, huh? Comment down below. At this point, you have almost all the information you need to figure out how much water you should be drinking. Is it the famous 2 liters a day? Drinking 2 liters of water is excessive. Do you remember this news, folks? That piece of news was a misinterpretation of a scientific study. In fact, the study that originated the news suggests a more accurate model for predicting how much water each person needs, because, indeed, the amounts vary greatly from person to person. And Yes, in some situations, 2 liters might be more than necessary. But in most cases, 2 liters are insufficient. To discover the ideal amount of water a person should drink, researchers measured the amount of water lost per day in 5,604 individuals. Besides this high number of participants, which gives quality to the study, they also managed to include people with varied habits from 26 different countries, which helps to correct for cultural and water consumption differences. In other words, it is a quite relevant study, considering that the recommendation to drink 2 liters of water was based on generic studies with few volunteers that weren't suitable for everyone. And the result of how much water you should drink per day is this gigantic formula. Hold on, we'll translate this for you. This equation means that the amount of water you should drink considers your level of physical activity, body weight, gender, the humidity of where you live, the altitude of your city, whether you're an athlete, your age, and the temperature of the environment. All this to figure out how much water you lose, to estimate more accurately the amount of liquids you should be consuming. Yes, scientists made an equation for this. 2 liters might be ideal for a woman with a moderate level of physical activity, living in a place with a mild climate, just as it might be too much for the same woman living in a cold location who is sedentary. And finally, those same 2 liters might be far too little for a male athlete living in a hot region. The researchers do not criticize the recommendation of 2 liters of water per day at any point. But it is impossible to say that 2 liters is the ideal amount for everyone, since the results of the article show that water losses can vary from 1 up to 4 liters. Moreover, the article emphasizes the importance of replenishing fluids according to what is lost, both through food and liquid beverages. After all, some foods such as fruits and vegetables can contain up to 90% water, as is the case with cucumbers and melons. If a person consumes a lot of fruits and vegetables, they could meet up to 50% of their liquid intake recommendation through food alone. One thing is for sure, all the findings from this article provide important data so that, little by little, nutrition guidelines can be updated and become more individualized and accurate. But if you don't want to be tied to a calculator, a simple way to find out how much water you need to drink is to follow the recommendation from the Institute of Medicine from 2006. This recommendation advises that we should consume at least 35 milliliters of water per kilogram of body weight. Do your calculation there. But attention! People with a high level of physical activity who lose more water through sweat may need to replenish much more, up to 50 milliliters per kilogram of body weight. Since 2006, this recommendation has already differentiated the amount of liquids according to your weight, age group, and gender, and proposed different goals for pregnant and breastfeeding women as they lose more water. And now that you've hit the like button, and to wrap up this video with a bang, I'm going to give you 7 quick tips to make sure you no longer have problems drinking the right amount of water. Number 1. Trust your body. Your body is equipped with sensors that retain or eliminate water as necessary. If you haven't met the water recommendation in a day, you won't die because of it. Number 2. Pay attention to your body's signals. Thirst is not silent. It's often accompanied by a dry mouth, dry skin, headache, fatigue, and even dizziness. If you experience these symptoms daily and only take a few sips of water throughout the day, turn on the warning signal and place a water bottle beside your work desk. Number 3. Check the color of your urine. It's normal for your first urine in the morning to be more concentrated, with a strong yellow color. Ideally, as the day goes on, it should become clearer, almost transparent. If it remains dark throughout the day, you can be sure that you're not drinking enough water. Oh, and if it has unusual colors like brown, green, pink, black, or is foamy, seek medical advice to investigate what might be happening. Number 4. Pay attention to your diet. Prioritize natural, unprocessed foods and limit your intake of processed items. Most natural foods are more hydrated. They contain more water than processed foods, which are usually more calorie-dense and have less water. Especially, increase your consumption of fruits and vegetables in general, as this will aid in hydrating your body. Number 5. Drink plain water. Although beverages like juices and sodas are liquids and contribute to hydration, relying on calorie-rich drinks for hydration can significantly increase your daily calorie intake, leading to weight gain. Therefore, it's better to get accustomed to plain water. If you don't drink any, start by taking a few sips throughout the day, a glass when you wake up, and so on. Number 6. Diuretic beverages. Don't rely 100% on your hydration from drinks like coffee, mate tea, and diuretic teas such as horsetail, green tea, and hibiscus. While they do contribute to hydration, they also have a diuretic effect that signals the body to produce more urine and release more water. Therefore, they don't hydrate in the same way as plain water does. Number 7. Calculating how much water you need. Use the formula of 35 to 50 milliliters per kilogram of body weight to find out how much fluid you should be consuming and prioritize filtered water to reach this goal. And if your lifestyle habits are different from what is usual for you, like if you've started exercising, it's best to consult a dietitian to do this individual calculation for your case. There is no one-size-fits-all formula that works for everyone. But one thing is for sure, you are not a cactus, so you need water to survive. If you feel constantly tired, the first thing you should think about is hydrating properly, before suspecting anything else like deficiencies of other nutrients. And consult a dietitian for support in your decisions and to avoid falling into fad diets, such as the famous low-carb diet. A big hug, go fill up your water bottle, and I'll see you in the next video in 10 seconds. Bye.